Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of The Week here on the Renegade Nation. Glad to see everybody out there, and thank you also for joining us from, other channels abroad out there, including the one, the only, the great Ron Coleman joining us again tonight as always. Good to have you here, Ron.
Crazy times.
It is. It really is, and we've got a Chiron
we'll have
rolling
some
across the bottom of the screen.
Talk about.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you walk in, you get ready for a show, you think you know everything that's going on, you think you know what the topics are for tonight, and then we get an unpleasant surprise. This is breaking news that just dropped just less than an hour ago now. Federal agents, this is the New York Post, shoot two people in Oregon, in Portland to be specific, day after an ICE agent killed a Minneapolis activist mom. Mom.
She's a mom. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
that's not activist. They put activist first.
Yeah, it's activists first. We will get to this because, again, the New York Post doing yeoman's work, and I'm going to compliment them today. We're going to get to the story as well. Speaking of that mom, if it weren't for all of these pop-ups that obstruct everything, that mom was here. She was part of the Minneapolis Ice Watch, and she was a warrior who was trained to resist feds. So we'll get to that. So just, not to be fair to the New York Post here, but this is what's going on right now. Information is still very fresh. We don't have a tremendous amount of details yet. So, yeah. Federal agents allegedly shot two people in Portland, Oregon, Thursday afternoon, just one day after an ICE agent gunned down Renee Nicole Good in Minnesota during a chaotic operation, according to a report. The shooting erupted near East Burnside at 141st Avenue, 141 Avenue. Portland City councilors told KATU, the local ABC affiliate. I believe we have some footage from that. And here's some pictures from the scene. Officials have not yet released information on the shooting or the condition of the two people shot. Portland City Council president said the pair were still alive. Sources told ABC News that the agents involved in the shooting are members of U.S. Customs and Border Protection. So that's about the extent of what we know right now. Again, this is one of those things that part of the conversation tonight, Ron, obviously was going to be as I pulled no punches last night when the story broke in Minneapolis. I'm sickened, disgusted, fed up, what have you, with the constant refrain from the left that law enforcement doesn't matter. It continues to seem to me that the greatest weapons that the Democrat left in this country have ever been able to craft are simply the weapons of ignorance. And they depend upon it. They thrive upon it. And I've seen this so many times. I talked about this extensively last night. There are so many people in this country who believe that they have some sort of moral right to be combative with law enforcement, and specifically with law enforcement during the course of their lawful execution of their law enforcement duties, and that's key, right? We're not talking about police officers who, quote unquote, go rogue. And again, I know there's a lot of people out there that think that, oh, well, there's systemic this and that in police departments. There really isn't. There's no evidence to support that. Police officers acting beyond the bounds of their lawful duties, quite frankly, seem to be incredibly seldom, very few and far between compared to the number of actions. And I told folks last night, Ron, you can go look at countless different YouTube channels for raw police body cam footage. Police activity, Midwest Safety, two of my favorites.
Midwest Safety is the gold standard, I think.
Officer John. Yes, absolutely. Police activity is a little bit different because what police activity does, they've got about 7 million subscribers on that channel. They're not monetized. They can't be because of the content they put out. And literally all they put out is they obtain the raw body cam footage and just post it. No commentary whatsoever. It's just, here's the body cam footage. Boom. And they roll through. There's nothing else. It's probably the most objective channel on YouTube when it comes to that. And if you watch that, if you spend just a couple hours scrolling randomly through it, you're going to have a very different perspective. I think almost everybody in this country would have a very different perspective on law enforcement. Now, that's not to say that every cop is perfect, granted, but 99.9% of them are just trying to do their damn job.
Well, they say that the greatest achievement of BLM was the spread of body cams.
Yes.
Because everyone is now able to see what a load of horse shit their whole spiel was.
Well, we talked about that last night. Matter of fact, I think you were in the chat for a bit, and I said and a lot of people have made the same comment that I think you're right. The greatest achievement of Black Lives Matter was the proliferation of body cam for every law enforcement agency out there in the country, and the greatest defeat at the same time for Black Lives Matter was the proliferation of body camera footage out there for every law enforcement agency in the country. It has really opened up people's eyes if they would only bother to go look. But this is a breaking news story. Again, we do not have a tremendous amount of data here. I'm going to see if there's any updates. And quite frankly, as you guys are probably well aware, that when it comes to news and updates, X is it. Actually, here we go. We have, it looks like, we have an actual official statement here from Homeland Security. This was not here the last time I looked, just before we started the show. At 2:19 Pacific Standard Time, the U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in Portland, Oregon. The passenger of the vehicle and target is a Venezuelan illegal alien. Well, oh, the irony here. Nicolas Maduro is going to have a friend in jail. Alien affiliated with the transnational Tren de Agua prostitution ring and involved in a recent shooting.
Crime.
Yes. And involved in a recent shooting in Portland. The vehicle driver is believed to be a member of the vicious Venezuelan gang Tren de Agua. When agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle. Oh, no! Not again! The driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over the law enforcement agents. My God, Ron, wherever did they get that idea?
Well, I don't think they got the idea from anywhere but their right foot.
Yeah, no, I'm being a little facetious here, chat. You get the point, but the coincidence of timing here does tend to want me to crack a few jokes to that end.
Yeah, well, no, listen, there are always going to be jokes if I'm out on the stream, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's
fearing for his life and safety. An agent fired a defensive shot. The driver drove off with the passenger fleeing the scene. The situation is evolving and more information is forthcoming. So that is more information than I had in my hands when we kicked the show off. So there we go. And look, I'm just because it's on the screen and I kind of can't ignore it. We're on a live stream here. Look, here we go. Just like your lies yesterday, we don't believe you. Another set of lies that is going to get debunked by the evidence. Fuck you, ICE, and fuck DHS. I'm quoting here. Does anyone believe ICE? This comes after J.D. Vance announced agents have full immunity. Our government is killing us. So now anytime ICE kills or shoots someone, the car was weaponized. I know what JFC is. I'm not going to. I'll say the F word before I blaspheme on this stream. You guys like to twist stories heavily, as seen with what happened with Renee Nicole Good. So I'm not believe. Here we go. The leftist Reddit mob, the Google AI lawyers, the Reddit lawyers out there are already in the till, already doing Insta responses. You probably know that most of these. Here we go. Here's another one right here. Are nothing but AI bots, and again, some of the channels I just mentioned, like Midwest Safety, Police Activity, Raw Body Cam Footage. There are quite a number. I mean, probably hundreds between the two channels of police body cam footage of different incidents that involve suspects disobeying lawful commands and then turning their vehicles into deadly weapons to try to run over Leos.
But what if they're what if they're moms?
What if they're moms? You know what? You're right, Ron. You're right. We have to give deference to the moms because, if you're a mom and,
Isn't Maduro a mom, actually?
I probably. I mean, if you're a mom, you get dispensation. Ron, it's like the same thing. Have you ever heard of the home base rule? Do you know the home base rule? It's actually, according to Reddit and most suspects that wind up getting arrested, there is the home base rule where I'm in my driveway. I pulled in my driveway. You can't arrest me now. You can't handcuff me anymore. You can't pull me. You should have pulled me over before I got to my driveway. Well, no, man. We saw you crash into a vehicle and run away. You're clearly drunk. But I'm at home. I'm at home. You can't arrest me. I'm in my driveway.
That must be the rule that comes before. What are you arresting me for? You have to tell me what you're arresting me for.
It's like a bad combination of soft sit and everything else. This is, speaking of moms, and this was the story we're going to lead off with, and we're going to be monitoring the situation in Portland. There's no additional information as of yet. We'll get there. But I want to kind of bust in here, Ron. Speaking of moms, let's talk about mom here. Renee Nicole Good, mom, who was involved in taking her maroon Honda Pilot.
That's ironic because now she's the only good communist.
She was part of an Ice Watch group. And she was called a warrior by people who knew her. This was an article from the New York Times. By the way, people are showing some pictures. I just want to see everybody who we're talking about here. It's if you look at the picture here, the still image on the right, she's the one in the back of the frame. I know there's been a lot of images out there.
That's the married couple, though?
That is Renee Nicole Good is the one to the right of the frame, and her wife is the one on the left of the frame. The one that was heard in the video that she recorded that's going all over social media now, saying, "That's my wife. Oh, I told her to come here. It's my fault. I told her to come here." That one, that's her. People have been showing pictures of Renee Nicole Good, from a few years ago. Before, I've heard various stories that, she has an ex-husband. She has a deceased ex-husband, or another husband that was deceased. I don't know which is correct or not. We found out, and we'll talk about this in the article here with the New York Post that we pulled up a moment ago. She was living in Canada. She just recently moved back into Minneapolis and immediately joined in the ICE Brigade. By the way, Ron, you know what? According to the New York Post, why she moved to Canada. Oops, I didn't mean to hit the play. Do you know why she moved to Canada?
No.
Well, let's see. Let's go through the story here. The mom who was killed by a federal agent after veering her car toward him was an ICE warrior and was part of a group of activists who worked to document and resist the federal immigration crackdown in Minnesota, the New York Post can reveal. Nicole Good, who moved into the city last year, so like we're talking less than 12 months ago, linked up with the anti-ICE activists through her 6-year-old son's woke charter school, which boasts the school that they kept saying she was going to pick it. She just dropping off her kid at school. The school on their website boasts that, quote, social justice first and prioritizes, quote, involving kids in political and social activism. Quote, she was a warrior. She died doing what was right, says a mother named Lisa, which I will call to your attention is spelled Leesa. That's a new one for me. Lisa, whose child attends the same school, told the New York Post at a growing vigil where Nicole Good was killed Wednesday. Quote, I know she was doing the right thing. I watched the video plenty of times. But I also know in my heart the woman she was doing everything right. Good and her wife, Rebecca, the other woman in the photo we just showed you, were raising the boy together in the mostly working class, activist-heavy neighborhood of South Minneapolis. I love the details that the New York Post injects here. It's great. Which features tree-lined streets and a large number of homes with windows decked out in LGBTQ plus flags or signs depicting George Floyd. Just as many others did in the lefty enclave, Good sent her son to the Southside Family Charter School, a K-5 academy opened in 1972, which has from its inception been unabashedly dedicated to social justice education, according to the school's co-founder, Susie Oppenheim. It was through her involvement in the school community that Good became involved in Ice Watch, a loose coalition of activists dedicated to disrupting ICE raids in the sanctuary city. From my understanding, she was involved in social justice. We are a tight-knit community, and a lot of parents are activists. Former Southside gym teacher.
This is the longest answer to the question of why she moved to Canada that I could have imagined.
I know, I'm getting there, but we got to tell the audience all the fun stuff, right? We can't
Are you going to pay a royalty to the Post? You don't have to, because you've shown every one of their damn ads.
That's right.
You're multiplying the value of their sponsors.
Exactly.
Ronnie Lamar Cadillac, by the way, awesome.
That's right, Ronnie Lamar, New Orleans tradition down here. So here's the thing. I'm trying to find where is the poll quote here. There's a mention of it. I think you probably already know what it is, and I think the audience already knows what it is. If my point is, I'm setting you up here. Your brains are already churning. You already know why she moved to Canada.
You do?
In the last year. Come on, you got to think about this. Renee Good was trained against these ICE agents. What to do, what not to do. It's a very thorough training. Her mom friend at her son's school, Lisa, said. Lisa. To listen to commands, to know your rights, to whistle when you see an ICE agent. Okay? Where is the...
Have you ever... Do you know how to do the whistling, the finger whistling? You're a good old boy.
I never was good at the finger whistle. Yeah.
I don't even understand the concept. I think it was more of a city thing, actually, than a woodsy thing.
You know, I've tried it.
The mean streets of Brooklyn. There were guys who could do that. But
yeah, I tried it, but it never worked out for me. Here's the thing. I thought it was in this article. I'm trying to find the actual quote. I'm pretty sure it was in this article. Let me just, okay, if you haven't figured it out yet, why did they move? They left the United States. They moved to Canada after Trump was elected because they couldn't. This woman was, I swear it's in this article. I thought I had it highlighted, but I might have missed it. She moved to Canada, according to the Post, because of Donald Trump, because of his election. Okay?
So what was she doing here?
That's the question, right? Why did they suddenly decide to move back to Minneapolis? Now, what did we hear from Department of Homeland Security yesterday or earlier today? I don't remember. The days are kind of running together. Kristi Noem, I believe, our DHS secretary, made a comment during her presser that she was, part of a group that did this, that, and the other thing. I don't think it's much of a stretch to think that with those comments combined with, and we're going to play some video here. Of course, J.D. Vance had his presser today where he mentions that this woman was part of a network. I think we all know what that means. And we've had Donald Trump, the president, out there talking about that she was likely a paid agitator. I'm paraphrasing, but that's... Let's kind of put all of these little bits and pieces together. Ron, what do you think? That they moved to Canada, Trump got elected, she left, and then one of those websites that we've all seen them, we've talked about them before, that put out calls, basically like a Craigslist for liberal agitators. We're going to pay you X amount of dollars to come on down here and be
now,
a part
let me ask
of
you
blah, blah,
something.
blah.
Stupid question.
Yeah.
Isn't it obvious that any kind of list like that must be infiltrated? I mean, if there's any effort whatsoever by the good guys to do law enforcement and infiltration, wouldn't they be also scanning that stuff and using it as evidence and using it to send in? All right, but fine. I mean, it is a lot of things that you would think people would never do. They do. So
you would think, and that's probably where or why they are making the comments they're making in these pressers that they're doing. I would think is because they're seeing who's signing up for things. They know who these people are. They're on a watch list because they're signing up for this kind of activities, and they're being paid for it. I mean, you look here in the same New York Post article. ICE Watch recently shared an Instagram post of the groups which encouraged agitators to bring items that would help them barricade the streets around where the shooting took place, even urging people to bring things to burn, such as dried up Christmas trees. This call for aggressive and even violent resistance comes as ICE agents have faced an unprecedented spike in attacks, surging by some 3,200% over the last year. Shocking data released by the Department of Homeland Security revealed to the Post. Federal officials said violent, radical rhetoric from sanctuary politicians is to blame for vehicular attacks against ICE agents skyrocketing between January this year and January last year. 66 attacks were recorded during that time period compared to just 2 the year before. And this is 66 attacks against ICE agents involving vehicles. This isn't a 3,200% increase or 66 attacks in total. This isn't attacks based on hands and feet. This is specifically vehicular attacks, meaning that people like Renee Good sitting behind the wheel of a car who willfully or otherwise decided to obstruct and resist arrest because that's what was going on. And we're going to get to the whole myth of ICE agents can't arrest U.S. citizens because that's the new one going around.
Oh, well, it's true as long as they're traveling.
He made a sit joke.
So let me set the table here.
Go ahead, Ron.
By reading my own brilliant post from yesterday. Let me share.
Let me pull it up. Hold up. There you go.
They have been angling for armed conflict since 2016, and the more desperate they are, and they are, the fewer alternatives they see as available. To some extent, by prudently operating only at the margins of enforcing federal prerogatives, the administration has strengthened their sense, the bad guys' sense, of what they can get away with. And I just said last night when I was on with Tony Kinnett, it's a bit like that super bacteria you risk creating when you don't take all the antibiotics you're prescribed. The White House has acted only incrementally against domestic terrorism. And the result is that the Black Hand, the fascist Antifa crowd that runs all these operations, perceives, as do its foot soldiers, people like the late Ms. Good, that they can still get away with quite a lot, jumping on cars, blocking entrances. They're only they'll peel people off cars, but they're not doing the kind of Chicago 1968 head bashing you'd like to see. So it's cool to prosecute rogue state court judges, and I appreciate that they got a conviction there. But it's probably at this point a mistake to let these insurrectionists determine how and when and where the real battle will be joined. And it will be joined because every day takes more and more options, resources, and equity, by which I mean credibility, reputation, off the table for these people. These are people who value their power and their privileges more than they do America's liberty and justice. That's why we're seeing this. They're desperate now. Their major funding is going to be taken away from them. USAID was the first step. Yep. Now that we see how Medicaid is being ripped off and the child care stuff, it's going to turn out that there are hundreds of billions of dollars a year, not only going into the pockets of Somali daycare center owners, but funding the left and the Democrat Party. We are hitting the vein, and they're absolutely desperate. So they are breaking the glass, the in case of emergency glass. This is that emergency, and they know they will get the backing of scumbags like Jimmy Kimmel and the rest of them.
Oh yeah,
because they always do.
Yeah, we've got the Jimmy Kimmel the T-shirts. I know exactly what you're talking about here, and you're dead on right. This is exactly what these absolute freaking effeminate losers like Jacob Frey or Jacob Fry, whatever, how do you say his name? I don't give a crap. And Tim Waltz. Tim Waltz is such a loser that he decided to quit. It was so bad for him that he decided to quit. Let's be honest. Tim Waltz could have walked into he's like, I'm going to go for a historic third term as Minnesota's governor. He could have walked into that, right? Because of all of the cajoling and the satiating of Somali power in terms of a voter base in Minnesota. He could have walked into that. He's quit. I wonder freaking why. Because he knows he might be facing a federal indictment. And he might actually be facing an uprising from, rational Minnesotans, for those, many of them who are still out there and suffering because of all of the fraud in Minnesota. Suffering because of perhaps even illegitimate politicians like Ilhan Omar and Tim Waltz and people like Jacob Fry and Jacob Frey or whatever the hell his name is as the mayor of Minneapolis. Here's the thing. I would love to see it come down the pike to where I think we are streaming towards a cacophony of evidence that's going to show that all those names I just mentioned, and we can throw in some additional ones like Keith Ellison, for example, who is that piece of trash. I still remember the night of 2020, election night 2020, and Ellison was out there on Twitter telling the voters that afternoon, like with 3 hours left to vote, I think I even still have the tweet saved somewhere in a screenshot. He was like, the numbers, I'm paraphrasing, but it's very close. Very, very close. The numbers are not good. We need to get people out there voting right now. Like Trump, like he was suggesting that Trump was winning Minnesota. They were in trouble. We all know what wound up happening the night of 2020. Let's not rehash the obvious, okay? But my point is that Ellison is one of these guys. I mean, he is one of the biggest scumbags on earth. There's probably going to be, although we have, I can't point to any evidence right now. I'm not trying to suggest there is. I want to be totally fair. But I think all of us can use a rational bit of gut instinct here to say, these people were probably involved. You can't squirrel out $10 billion or more that we know of right now just in the state of Minnesota in massive welfare fraud, which is what this amounts to across the board, whether it's food stamps or whether it's insurance subsidies or Medicaid, Medicare, EBT, Section 8, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. We're talking about billions and billions of dollars in Minnesota alone, right? We haven't even touched California and other crazy places yet.
Not just I mean, I think we're already into the tens of billions.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. And of course, the question is there going to be any prosecution for these? And I hope so. I think it would be a huge mistake if we don't.
No, there will.
I think there will. We're in a midterm election year. And I was talking to folks last night on here, Ron. You know, you've got Democrats, even CNN. And I think I have the clips stored away. I'm going to go back and look for it. But I think it was CNN that was even going, holy shit, we haven't seen Democrats this far underwater since 1994 in terms of congressional approval ratings.
And I'll tell you something else. The whole Israel op that was designed to sink Republicans turned out to be an op. It's almost all funded by foreign money.
Oh yeah, surprise!
The party is 90+% in favor of Israel, and it's not the hot issue that it was. People are not happy with, frankly, what they saw from anti-Israel people in this country. And when that's not even talking about when the Supreme Court rules on the Voting Rights Act.
Yeah.
And when Harmeet Dillon gets those voter lists.
That's just it. I mean, there's so much still out there that is set to be torn apart that we haven't even got to yet. I know there's a lot of people out there that watch, commentary programs like ours. That I get it. You guys out there, you're hungry for the action. It can't all happen at one time, right? I can't promise anything, but I also know that, generally speaking, Ron, I think you would agree that anytime the federal government is going to drop a hammer on somebody, they're not going in half-assed. They're going in knowing that we got you, bitch. I mean, there are times when they can do. In other words, the railroading of hundreds of people in the J6 prosecutions was less than half-assed. They had nothing. That's an
they
exception.
admitted they had nothing, but they were they were pushing against an open door because the judges in the District of D.C. are insane.
Oh, very much, very much. I want to grab this real quick, and then we're going to hit these super chats. You guys have been very patient. I appreciate you. There was a link in the New York Times article. That's where it was. I knew it was somewhere. I just wanted to make good on my statement here because, again, like I tell everybody, we don't do trust me, bro. I didn't make this up. This was a link from the New York Times or the New York Post, article about Renee Good. Kansas City neighbors react after former Waldo resident killed in Minneapolis ICE shooting. Okay. This is from yesterday. Okay. Yesterday evening, less than 24 hours ago. A woman shot and killed by a federal immigration officer during a traffic stop. The woman was identified as Renee Good. Authorities say she was shot in front of a family member, her wife. KMBC's investigation found, this is a Kansas news organization, that the vehicle Good was driving had been registered in Kansas City, Missouri in 2024. Records also show she lived in the Waldo neighborhood within the past 5 years. Nicole Good spent about 2 years in Kansas City renting a home in Waldo. A former neighbor of hers said the family decided to leave the country after President Trump was elected in 2024. They first moved to Canada before later settling in Minneapolis. It's been like a year and a month since Donald Trump was reelected. So they left after Trump's election, moved to Canada, and then within a few months later,
they moved to Canada to signal their virtue. Yes.
Right.
We're the ones who are really doing it. We're really doing it.
Right. And then for some reason,
and
they decided to come back to Minneapolis, Minneapolis.
But seriously though, what is there in Minneapolis that there isn't in Canada? Like, you're in Canada already. Like
George Soros money to be a paid protester. That would be my argument, right? And if it, because again, going back to the whole issue of, you've got DHS out there, you got Kristi Noem, they're talking today, and they're saying that, you know, and JD Vance, and we're going to play that clip maybe next after we get to Super Chats, talking about this woman was part of a network. Well, if she left the United States and she moved to Canada, according to her neighbors, where she lived in Missouri or Kansas, and then went to Canada, and then within the same 12-month period went to Canada and then moved back apparently into Minneapolis, then like you said, you have to ask yourself, why did she move back? Well, if maybe she was incentivized by becoming part of this network. Because apparently as soon as she moved in and enrolled her son, that, as I said last night, I'm sorry if you think this sounds cold, but I'm not bullshitting anymore. This woman felt that her son was less important than her political activism and fighting federal law enforcement officers during the course of the lawful execution of their lawful duties. Let's stop with the pretenses out there. What made her move back and enroll her son there? And then she immediately joins up. She moves into a district where the school is described, self-described, and all the parents there describe it as, you know, social justice school, like we talked about, the New York Post article. And then she immediately joins the anti-ICE league, or whatever the hell it was called, that was a lot of parents in the school were also part of. Like, she immediately returned to the United States and then instantly engaged in political activism, or as Kristi Noem and the DHS have referred to this as a domestic terrorist act. I don't know. I mean, we could draw some reasonable conclusions here, Ron, could we not?
No one more reasonable or conclusory than me.
Yeah. I mean, it's there. So, Juliet, thank you, my love, for 5 British pounds sterling. Evening Renegade Nation News. Ron Coleman and chat. God bless you, Juliet. You are a freaking trooper. I know it's,
Juliet is the best.
It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning where she's at. She's across the pond in the UK.
Ultimate wrench wench.
Oh, she's amazing. She's a badass. Packing protons for 5. Breaking Governor Tim Walz will likely be handcuffed if he refuses to resign, says Minnesota Representative Tom Emmer. I did see this. This is, I mean, you know, if Walz wants to go out there and say that federal agents are Nazis and the Gestapo, as he referred to them verbatim as the Gestapo, and then you've got Jacob Frey out there, Jacob Frey, that wants to go out there and tell ICE to, quote unquote, get the fuck out. and all this kind of stuff in his press
Well,
conference.
that was bold. And what is it again? Bold and the two dials.
Stupid.
But boy, he really spoke truth to power using the F word.
Oh yes, he was.
Government.
He was stunning and brave.
Wow. Stunning and brave. That's
brave. Stunning. I figured that's what you were going for. Stunning and brave. We got packing protons for another $10. Breaking, the Labor Party is set to postpone local elections in 22 different areas up and down the country. Remember, only dictators cancel elections. Lots of stuff tonight. Yeah, let me tell you what. Where was the other? Was it Canada? Canada recently, didn't they not cancel elections before Justin Trudeau got pwned? Who was it that canceled? There was another socialist country out there that canceled the elections to reschedule them because the party in power was absolutely going to get smashed.
Well, that the parliamentary system does permit you to do that.
It does.
And that those just kind of like gerrymandering. Those are the rules of the game.
Right.
It's good to be the king, and if you're in the majority, what eventually happens though is if you at a certain point I guess it's pretty well known that you can't stay in power forever, even under these systems, and they have to figure out when's the best time to hold elections. They have these snap elections sometimes because we're going to only do worse in 6 months than we would do next week. It's one of the good things about our system is supposed to be that there are elections every 2 years, federal elections. Problem is, they have made the elections. Both parties, with the mail-in voting, have made election day meaningless. And when election day is meaningless, then the regularity of elections and of course the integrity of elections becomes meaningless as well. But packing protons, you're right on it. They're in trouble. That is not something you do, I would imagine. And I'd like to know if anyone's following that story, because I hadn't seen it until I saw Packing's
I didn't know either. Yeah, I didn't know either.
What's their rationale? Why are they explaining? How are they explaining that?
Yeah, let me know, Packing. Is there a link? Is there something like on The Guardian or UK Daily Mail or something out there that we can look at? Because I'd be curious to see what that is. And then the next one here from Packing as well. Breaking, unverified report. Ali Khamenei was smuggled to Russia and is no longer present in Iranian territory. If that's true.
Imagine now being Vladimir Putin. We're really back to the axis of evil.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's in bed with every bad guy. Instead of there was this process by which Russia was becoming this legitimate participant in the world community.
Oh yeah, he rigged the election for Trump, right? It's some shit.
Right, because because Trump was definitely such a better move for him than Hillary.
Oh God, yeah, it's still. I love that story. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What? I had nothing to say.
Oh no, I thought you were okay.
I'm a reply guy.
The Putin joke.
No, just making the point that he's giving. He's providing exile to Khomeini. How does that going to sell in Iran?
I guess the idea is, Ron, nobody was supposed to know that. If this is true, if what Packing Protons is telling us is accurate, I'm not saying he's lying. I'm just saying that he's getting it from a source, assuming the source is correct, that probably not something that Russia's going to go out there and put on a billboard in Moscow or Tehran, for that matter. So anyway, we'll have to look into that one. Marcus says for 5, he gifted 1. Get the fuck out of Minneapolis, or what you going to do, Jacob, for a membership? I appreciate it. Thank you, Marcus. There's jokes here because we don't have memberships on the channel yet. So
memberships. We don't even have super chats. I mean, you guys are terrible.
Ron Coleman needs money. He just spent a lot of money on weddings. So he's got, you know.
It was my last one, but I am so broke. I am so. I mean,
he's not lying. I had to send Ron Coleman $5 today on the McDonald's app just so he could get something off the value menu.
And the ice cream machine was broken.
Yeah, it's terrible. I
don't know if I'm seeing anything that I'm seeing that he plans to escape, but I don't think anyone else is saying that he did. Makes plans to escape.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, cool. No, it's cool.
Yeah. I'm going to catch this one here real quick, and then we're going to get to the JD Vance thing, because that was fire. John Thomas for $2. See if JD Delay will come on stream. He lives there. I'm assuming you mean we're talking about Portland or Minnesota. I don't know JD Delay. And Packing says he tagged us on Twitter in the UK elections. Not much there. Okay, all right. We'll check into that. Let me get, and we'll get back to the super chats and where we didn't miss anything. Send them in. We appreciate you. That's what helps support the channel and keeps us going here, because it's not like we're making a whole buttload of ad revenue here on YouTube. We need you guys to subscribe, right? If you're watching on X, come on over to YouTube, even if just for a second. It's cool. You don't like YouTube, I get it. It's awesome. That's whatever. But help us out. Log in on YouTube and subscribe to Ron's channel. Subscribe to Valiant Renegade and Renegade Nation, where we are broadcasting tonight. That's one of the best bits of support that you can give us, and it's totally free. So in fact, I'm gonna put that one up. Boom, there we go. Smash that like and subscribe. Share it out. If you're watching us on X, repost it for us on X. If you're watching it on YouTube, share it from YouTube to X. If you have an account there, we appreciate you. All right, let me get this. Hang on, I got to go back over here and pull up the. Oops, lost the feed on that one. I think I had. Oh wait, you know what? I do have it here. Bear with me. I did have it saved. I think I had. Well, I think I had the bulk clip saved. You know, that's why. I'm just gonna pull this up because it's too funny. You know, every time I try to have an opinion on things, Ron and I try to have an opinion on things, we get pwned. We always get pwned. And I'm gonna tell you who we get pwned by.
Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
It's this asshole right here, Jeremy. D-Day Cobra, my good friend, my bro. You know, he's awesome. We just do what we do here. I didn't realize. I figured he was probably going to go live because of everything we had going on. He loves to go live. In fact, I was trying to give Jeremy a call before we started the show. I'm due to be down in Orlando again in a few weeks.
Man, for life.
Well, you know, this one is the annual trip that's always planned, because this is the trip where my 18-year-old daughter does her national dance competition, and she does it at ESPN. The team, like everybody shows up in Disney for ESPN and does the big UDA national competition there. So I'm usually down there for a couple of days before all the big stuff starts with nothing to do. So I go hang out and party in Universal. So I'm going to do that again this year. But in any case, what I wanted to bring up was, where is it? I saved this. Why am I? Oh, that's why it wasn't coming up. Sorry, because I switched my YouTube login because I'm on Renegade Nation, and it was saved under Valliant Renegade. That's why I couldn't find it. Because I'm logged in here since we're streaming. I got to switch my login here. 1 second. Sorry, guys. I'm a doofus. This is what happens when you're not a YouTuber, right? So don't blame me.
You're also not a YouTuber?
I'm also not a YouTuber. I'm proudly not a YouTuber. Yeah. This is what happens when I try to do silly things. All right. This is what I wanted to get. This is what I wanted to get to here. Let me make sure I cue it up to the beginning, and so we can jump right in. Okay. We should have audio ready to go. Let's get to this. JD Vance was, giving no Fs today.
I am a father of 3 young kids, a lot of kids, a lot of people in my generation. What is that going on there?
He's looking at our flag.
Okay.
Cameras
You
going.
need. But number 2, making it easier for people who shouldn't even be in this country.
Let me
It's
fast
mostly Somali immigrants, but also a few others. And if
I want to get to.
But it is going to be a nationwide effort because, unfortunately, under the supervision of me and the President of the United States. And number 2, it's actually constitutionally legitimate. As you guys may know, the special counsel statute has some major constitutional questions. When we get the bad guys, we want to make sure we get them permanently and they don't have some legal technicality they can get out of, which is why we set it up as an associate attorney general. I'll take some questions, but I want to make just one final observation here.
Okay, here we go.
When I was
This is
actually
it.
walking out here, somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline.
What happened?
About what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline. I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well, that's one way to put it, and that is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile. What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. The President stands with ICE. I stand with ICE. We stand with all of our law enforcement officers. And part of that is recognizing that you people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you. Questions?
Good for him.
Mr. Vice President, I wanted to read a quote from Tim Walz earlier today. He said, when things looked bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held the line for the nation on July 3rd, 1863, and I think we may be in that moment now. Can you comment on his rhetoric and Mayor Jacob Fry and whether they want to see unrest?
Tim Walz is
in
the
Minneapolis?
loser.
Well,
How about
that's very
that?
tough rhetoric from a guy who just quit because his fraudulent activities have been uncovered. Look, Tim Walz is a joke. His entire administration has been a joke. The idea that he's some sort of freedom fighter, he's not. He's a guy who has enabled fraud and maybe, in fact, has participated in fraud. That's what this Assistant Attorney General position is going to find out. I don't care what Tim Walz says. I care about getting to the bottom of this fraud for the American people, and I care about enforcing the nation's immigration laws. That's what we're going to stay focused on.
I mean, that is a baseball bat to the nuts. That is okay. Yeah, sure. I'll answer your question, and I'm gonna piss you off when I do. I love the way this guy operates. What I love about JD Vance is that he has all of the tour de force, I think, that Donald Trump does. But, you know, not to knock Trump too hard on this one, but he does it in a more tactful manner that's just kind of more brilliant. And again, I think Donald Trump was the right guy at the right time to hold the office he has. But I think the guy that comes after Trump has to be all the tour de force that Trump is, but with a little bit more panache. And I think J.D. Vance is that guy. That's what I love about this guy. And I have a lot of high hopes for him. But, I mean, just talk about just bearing this turd of a question. I mean, that was brilliance. But listen to what he said. And the key point was this, and of course there's video out there, is that you can see what I've been watching lately. I've been watching Gordon Ramsay. I've been watching Richard Hammond and James May, and I've been watching Forge and Fire stuff. But I mean, there's some other questions. I'm not going to go through this whole press conference. It's very lengthy. But the point is that he brings up the point, because this was just but a rumor yesterday, Ron, that this very same ICE officer that was the one who shot Renee Good after Renee Good weaponized her vehicle and tried to run him over, actually struck him. As per all clear video evidence, it was obvious he was hit. His body crumpled. He got hit and rolled off the side of the car as he took the shot. The man did not draw his sidearm until a millisecond after she smashed the gas pedal and the wheels spun. And but for the fact, and I said this last night during the live show as we were looking at the video, and then I found out, you know, everybody was talking about, well, Tim Pool said that look at the wheel spin. I'm like, I said it too. But for the wheel spin, that officer would have been dead. He'd have been under that car, more than likely. The physics just don't work. If that wheel had instantly gained traction, he would have been under the vehicle. No question. The wheel spin was a guardian angel moment, in this Catholic's opinion, that probably saved his life, giving him time to react.
It is part of, I mean, it's not a miracle that the wheels spun. They spin when you do that, right?
Well, especially when you're on ice, right? But the point is, the same guy went through the exact same thing in June of 25. This same agent was hit by a vehicle while he was trying to apprehend an illegal alien, criminally convicted pedophile that had committed sexual assault on a minor, and was dragged, according to all the reports involved in the incident, for 300 feet, 100 yards. A football field was dragged by this car, had to have over 30 stitches put in his arm and legs because his body was torn up from it. You think a guy like this might be a little sensitive to some crazy white liberal bitch who has already ignored about a half a dozen lawful commands to move your car. She didn't do it. And then this is the new myth.
And there are no consequences. There are no consequences. Right. And hell, if you do arrest him, the judge lets him go anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, they told her to move her car. She didn't do it. Then where the video starts is where they got out of the car, and then they told her, get out of the car. And then they said, get out of the car again. And then they said, get out of the fucking car, which was the third time. All three times she refused to comply. And Ron, I'm going to cite something, and maybe you'll be proud of me, but we talked about this last night. You know, famous case. There's every law enforcement officer knows about this. Pennsylvania versus Mims. It's a famous Supreme Court case that, yes, if a law enforcement officer in the course of their lawful exercise of their duty gives you a lawful command, you have to obey, especially including getting out of your freaking car. Okay? She didn't do it. But there's so much mythology out there, thanks to Reddit and Google AI, that there's so many people that believe that they don't have to comply with law enforcement. They don't have to do anything. You can't ask me for my driver's license. I don't have to give it to you. You can't ask me for this. You can't ask me for that. You can't ask me to get out the car. You can't forcibly remove me from the car. If anybody out there in the audience thinks that that's true, I don't suggest you actually try it. Because it is 100% true, and they can do it. It is protected by law. Remember, the police, Ron, what do the police have? What does law enforcement have that the rest of us don't have the ability to do?
Well, they've got a number of things. One of them is to basically never be prosecuted for what they do. You know?
No, but I mean, apart from that, I mean, they have the power to detain somebody. They have the power to arrest somebody. They have special privileges to use physical force to execute a lawful duty.
Order. Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, because there's people out there on Reddit. There's people out there on X. There's people out, oh God, Blue Sky must look like an absolute shitstorm right now. I haven't even checked into that in months because I couldn't handle it. Even when I was trolling, I just couldn't take it because there was so much retardation. It was like, this is a constantly moving short bus. But the thing is that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that believe that, well, if in my heart I have social justice moral superiority, then state and federal statute and law enforcement, it doesn't apply to me. I can do whatever I want.
So that goes to the point that I made. We have really become inured to anything less than, you know, an outright murder. These people, I mean, what we saw for years was that the protesters, demonstrators, rioters, brigands,
I've heard brigands, yeah,
have gotten a complete pass from law enforcement and the judiciary.
Yeah, and that's the problem. They've been led to believe this is all fine and dandy. And the Democrat Party has certainly encouraged, it seems to me, Ron, I don't know if you agree with this or not, I suspect you will, but it seems to me the Democrat Party has done nothing but for the last 10 years, but to encourage their base,
100%.
frankly, to violence.
Well, they seek to delegitimize all opposition. So that's a way to do that.
They do. And by the way, if anybody's interested, there is a 2007 used Honda Pilot on Craigslist for sale. I didn't make this. Terrible. Oh, God.
Wait, did you read the whole thing?
Wait, you want to pull it back up? I could get banned on YouTube for this. Selling my sister's 2007 used Honda Pilot Maroon, 2 bullet holes in windshield and some damage to the front. Selling as is for $500 or best offer, preferably to a Somali family in need. It's what she would have wanted. Shit. Oh God. Yeah. Some other fun memes before we get back into some more news analysis here, just as a breakup. You live, you leer. Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at this. Look, I'm not. I said it last night. The event is tragic. I'm not going to sit here. We are not going to be like the left, who celebrates, the violent, horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk. I'm not celebrating this woman's death, but I am conscientious enough to understand that her death was of her own making. It was her fault. She put herself in that position. And like I said last night, while I'm not going to celebrate her death, at the same time, I don't feel any sympathy for her, given her decisions and her actions. That may be cruel and callous to some people, but that's just my honest opinion. But I'm not celebrating. I'm not going to sit here.
So let me play
devil's
advocate.
Yeah. Go ahead.
If
Please.
in fact it turns out, if we can say, which the information available to us appears as of now to be consistent with, that she was in the process of trying to unalive the ICE officer,
Yep.
I'm celebrating it. I'm fine with it. I'm not only
Fair
fine with
enough.
it, if you give me the option of her or him,
Oh,
easy
look,
choice.
I
Easy
agree.
choice. But the point is, celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, no comparison whatsoever. He was
No,
assassinated.
None.
He was assassinated. This was a person in the process of attacking a law enforcement officer with a deadly weapon,
Yep.
and she was neutralized. I'm toasting it.
I hear what you're saying, and I
You
agree with you.
You're just not going to say it yourself. That's why I'm here.
No. Well, okay. So let me add a little extra layer of granularity to it for what I mean when I say celebrating.
You mind if while you do that, I scratch my back?
You go ahead and scratch your back.
Okay, let's hear that granularity.
So let's hear me out. You and I both saw, everybody in this audience, we all saw. When I say celebration, I am talking about particularly white liberal women like
Where?
the one who was shot down by a federal officer justifiably yesterday, going out on TikTok and X and Blue Sky and everywhere else. I mean, making dancing videos.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
Right, that's what I mean by celebrating.
No,
Like
I know that.
mocking it, right? That's celebrating. Like you and I can both sit here and agree that her death was legally justified, and if it's between her and that federal officer, she can
And I'll tell you, I'll go further than that. Even though I really meant literally that I'm happy that a potential cop killer or ICE killer, was neutralized permanently with prejudice.
Yep.
I'm happy. But unlike the people who literally celebrated, I'm not going to make a T-shirt out of it.
Right.
Okay. I'm not going
Exactly.
I'm not going to high five my friends over it. Okay.
Bingo. That's the difference, audience. I know Ron knows. Look, I know Ron. He knows that. I know that. I'm saying this obviously for the audience to make it clear, for YouTube to make it clear, and for the people watching that may not be familiar with this channel to make it clear. There's a difference between saying, absolutely, we have no issue saying that her death was legally justified, given her series of poor choices, disobeying at least half a dozen commands by law. You know how you safely get through any interaction with law enforcement? Just do what they ask. You don't fight it on the side of the road. Whether it's a speeding ticket or a DUI or anything, you fight it in court. That's what court is for. You don't fight with law enforcement officers. But this woman was obviously trained, brainwashed, brain-rotted by the Democrat, progressive, liberal, socialist left to think that it didn't matter. There's people all over X today saying that ICE agents can't arrest an American citizen. This is the level of retardation that we're dealing with. And again, they all believe this. And now we have this news story tonight in Portland, Oregon that we opened the show with. I don't know how much more detail there has been since then, but you get my point. Is that these people have been brainwashed into absolute... Look at this. The day after... Let me pull up this clip real quick. The day after. This is today. Nick Sorter posted this. Y'all not following Nick Sorter. He posted a bunch of stuff. Look at this idiot.
Getting in front of a moving
This
car.
is today in Minneapolis. This is a guy who's probably on Reddit and X posting a bunch of retarded nonsense. He's diving onto the hood of a federal agent's vehicle.
Hear the mayor of their city saying ICE should get out, and they don't hear much from the governor.
Now, two things I want you to notice. Number one, he's acting like a complete idiot, and what he did there could easily be considered a crime, and he could have been arrested for it. But I also want you to notice that nobody put him in cuffs. and nobody shot him. Because he wasn't presenting a deadly force threat like Renee Good was, who was sitting behind the control panel of a 5,000-pound weapon, who stomped on the gas after being commanded multiple times to exit the vehicle, which she refused to comply to, which she was lawfully obligated to do at that moment, and instead decided to reverse the car to try to dodge officers who were trying to, at that point, forcibly remove her from the vehicle because of her noncompliance, which, again, go look at Midwest Safety, go look at police activity. You will find countless videos of stupid idiots, sovereign citizens especially, who don't think they have an obligation to comply and step out of a vehicle, who get their driver's side windows smashed in, and then an officer reaches in and grabs them and rips them out of that car, puts them in handcuffs, and they go off to jail for obstruction. She could have chosen anything, but as we said last night, the enemy has opted for oblivion. It's a Pirates of the Caribbean line, which is one of my favorite lines. It's from the third one. Nobody likes At World's End. I loved At World's End. I don't care what anybody says. But I love that line. The enemy has opted for oblivion. I was like, oh, it's perfect. That's what she did. But it didn't happen today because there was no deadly force threat, because there was no vehicle being aimed at this, or the guy jumping on the hood didn't have a gun in his hand. Okay? And this is the point. And again, we go back here, people who question whether or not, again, clear. I don't want to be stupid.
So people have raised questions about whether this is original speed. Doesn't look like it's original speed. But it looks like it's a movie. Anyone who is familiar with police light protocols will be able to, by measuring that, the
He's
light
being hit right here. Look at that. Clear as day. He is being hit by that vehicle. And you know what, guys and girls out there? It doesn't even matter if he was hit or not. The fact that the vehicle was, number one, in the process of fleeing and eluding a lawful detention and likely arrest in this case, after she was being told to exit the vehicle, right? She chose instead to make matters 1,000 times worse, step on the gas, with an officer standing in front of the car. It doesn't matter if she was trying to swerve to get out of there. She was trying to flee. She wasn't trying to. It doesn't matter. The cop was standing in front of the car. He had every right to, and he didn't pull the weapon until that wheel spun. And let me tell you what, y'all want a full breakdown of the legal analysis of it in terms of self-defense law? We talked about it last night, but Andrew Branca did a great stream on it. He did a great clip of a 20-minute video today. Go watch the Andrew Branca show, formerly Law of Self-Defense. He went right into it. I saw his video today, and he was like, oh, this is like, there's not even a doubt. This is clear-cut. This is about as clear-cut as it gets. And that's his legal speciality. So it wasn't even a question in his mind. But, the problem is now people are just getting worse and worse. And look at this. Here's my point. Listen to this. Listen to Karen here. Wait, let me turn this up. This is today. This is another white woman out there in Minneapolis shouting at federal law enforcement. Ron, do you want to guess what she's shouting?
Nazi pigs.
Kill me. Go ahead. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. This is... You want to shoot me?
Mass
Shoot me.
insanity.
Shoot me.
And she's doing it all for the cameras. If there's anyone in America at that moment who is more certain that they will not be killed.
Right.
It's
right. It's just, I mean, you're talking about insanity. Look, and Whoopi Goldberg wants NATO to come in and overthrow Trump. I know this is not, I kind of want to play this because it's so funny. We'll get back to this one. That bonus clip at the end, somebody send me a $50 super chat and we'll talk about Whoopi Goldberg wanting NATO to come in and overthrow Trump.
NATO.
NATO. How about a $100 super chat? Yeah. Not the North American Theaters Association. So just.
But I mean, just imagine what I mean. Those guys, just the concept, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen to this one. Here's more of it, Ron. We're going to fucking find you. If you all can't hear it, I'm going to give you the verbatim. It's, we're going to fucking find you. We're going to fucking kill you, is what they're saying. They're screaming this to federal officers as they roll down the street. We're gonna get your fucking asses.
Boring.
Yeah.
Listen, if it weren't, these people are insignificant nothings. If it weren't for the media recording them and let's face it, that's all of us now.
This is, by the way, this is the federal agent. This is the image I was referring to earlier. This is the federal agent 6 months ago in June.
300
the same
feet.
guy who was dragged 300 feet. This is the same guy who pulled his sidearm on the woman yesterday in Minneapolis who tried to run him over. He was just hit by a car and dragged for 300 feet by an illegal immigrant while he was trying to arrest him in June, as in 6 months ago. You think this guy might be a little sensitive to getting hit by a car? I would think so. So there was, I don't even want to, God. The Minneapolis sheriff or the Minneapolis chief of police. My God, what an absolute. Well, Ron, we referred to these guys. We referred to him last night as a twat, because that's the only thing I could come up with. And you know me, I love law enforcement, but the chief of police, I'm sure there's amazing people in the Minneapolis police force, but
police in Minneapolis by being anti-crime.
Exactly. Yes. No, he got to
ready
be the chief
to
of police.
arrest. You know what I'm ready to do? I'm ready this coming April to walk out to center field in Yankee Stadium and play center field for the Yankees.
There we go.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Put
and
me in, coach.
If I can't do it, it's not going to be my fault.
Exactly. I wanted to play this because this is, if you want to hear, and I was going to play a Grady Judd thing from Polk County, Florida, but we all know him. You know, look, don't mess around with the cops. You mess around with cops, you're going to get shot. Right? We all know Judd. Sheriff Judd is a freaking amazing dude. And we wish every sheriff in America was exactly like him. And many are. They just don't go out on YouTube like he does, social media like he does. But I want to call everybody's attention to this. This is from a relatively recent, within the last 6-12 months, event in Chicago. This is Chicago Police Department Superintendent Larry Snelling. Again, Chicago. One of the most deep blue cities in America. And I want you to listen to what he says. For anybody who has questions about the difference between the police chief in Minnesota, or Minneapolis rather, who doesn't want to help ICE, who agrees with the mayor, agrees with the governor that ICE should get the F out of their city, that their law enforcement agency, the police officers of the city of Minneapolis are not going to be there to help ICE, which had they been there before the shooting occurred instead of 20 minutes later, probably wouldn't have happened had they been there to assist federal agents. Listen to the Chicago police superintendent.
Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles,
Right, hold on a second.
for them to
Yeah.
believe
Is he a sheriff?
that they are being
Or is he? It says CPD, that's Chicago Police Department, and
Yeah.
those are Chicago cop. The checkered bit is something the Chicago cops wear. So he's not a sheriff.
No, he's the police superintendent, which is so in some cities, Ron. I don't know how it is in New Jersey, New York. So like in New Orleans, we don't say chief of police. We say we have a police superintendent.
No, I
So-
get that. But
Yeah.
the point is, because there is a Cook County sheriff.
Oh yes.
But chances are that guy basically works for the court system, and you know,
Yes.
is that involved? Okay, so fine. So this is the police superintendent. You know, it's not a New Jersey, New York thing. It depends on, you know, whatever the city decides to call them. All right,
Exactly. That's what I'm
I'm with
saying.
you,
Yeah, it's chief superintendent, but no, this is
okay,
the
okay.
city of Chicago, not Cook County. This is the city of Chicago superintendent.
yeah, okay.
Pushed. And that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not,
Listen to that again. Listen to that whole part of that clip again.
with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer.
Derp.
You are breaking the law when you do that,
Yes.
and you are putting yourself in danger. Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them.
Oh.
If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force.
This is the police chief / superintendent, you know, depending on where you are. I'm just using both names so you understand his rank here. He is the head of the city of Chicago's police department. Did you hear what he just said? Maybe, just maybe, if McFruity Boy over there in Minneapolis had used similar language to instruct the citizens that he is sworn to protect as the head of law enforcement in that city, instead of dithering on social justice bullshit, Democrat Party bullshit, and basically encouraging his population to go out there and resist ICE and get in their face and prevent them from executing their lawful duty as federal agents to round up illegals in this country, maybe, just maybe, Renee Good might be alive today.
If wishes were horses,
Yeah, you can,
beggars
right?
would ride. Okay,
You can wish in one hand and shit in the other and see what you feel first.
now that ain't something you hear every day.
No, it's not, but it's one of my favorites. So here's my point. Chicago guys out there watching in the audience, is Chicago a deep red area of the country? No.
Not only, I mean, Chicago basically fired an inept mayor who was just too woke to do a job, and then elected another one that's every bit as bad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's basically like New Orleans. We do the same shit here. It's the same thing. We just find one worse and
Here's
worse.
the thing. No. I mean, it's very common in blue districts that they will repeatedly, they'll reelect, and like, look at what New York did. Look, I mean, I get that, but the point is, what was the name of the mayor, the Chicago mayor, that woman with the buggy eyes?
Oh, I forget now. The alien.
Forget.
Yeah. She looks like Karen Bass from Los Angeles. I couldn't tell the difference between Karen Bass and her.
But but Lightfoot. Thank you, you guys.
Lightfoot. Thank you.
She was so bad
Oh, she was terrible.
that politically she had to go. and yet they elected someone every bit as bad. Like, when David Dinkins lost, it was to Rudy Giuliani. Okay, in other words, New York was saying something I don't think it'll ever say again.
I had this clip for you, just FYI.
It's just a picture?
No, it's a clip. I was just going to say, as you were talking about the mayor of Chicago.
Let's do it.
No, I was going to say, the point is, okay, so Ron was talking, this is the mayor that Ron is talking about. And I had this clip saved because, so remember the clip we just now played of the superintendent of Chicago police and what he said. That wasn't yesterday, that wasn't this week. That was several months ago when there was ICE activity, heavy presence in Chicago earlier in 2025. Now I want you to listen to the mayor.
Good evening, Chicago. I would like to take a moment to address the tragic loss of life today in Minneapolis.
Because
the video
Minneapolis
that many of us have
is really
seen
important.
of ICE officers fatally shooting a woman at point-blank range is deeply disturbing and unfortunately all too similar.
So he starts off with deeply disturbing that federal agents shot a woman at point-blank range. So you can already tell where he's going with this, right? We're not going to be fact-based. We're going to be social justice, Reddit emotion-based.
To incidents that have transpired here in Chicago. No community deserves to be subjected to the terror that's stemming from this president's use of ICE as his personal militarized force. At the start of their operation in Chicago, an ICE agent killed a father, Saverio Villegas Gonzalez, under very similar conditions in his car right after dropping his children off at school.
In other words, he tried to use his car to ram federal agents and kill them. Oh, good to know. Thanks.
Just as they tried to do today in Minnesota. The Trump administration lied about what happened and spewed misinformation in an attempt to distort the public's understanding. There was no accountability for that killing, nor was there any accountability when another legal observer in Chicago was shot 5 times.
There's the word. That's it. That's what I was waiting for. This is the new buzzword. God, I wish Rush Limbaugh were still alive. He was the originator. He was the master at this, at collecting clips long before you could do this easily with internet searches and computers. This was all hand done, and you had to go around every morning gathering up all the exact same phrases magically that would appear on ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MS. I mean, all these news channels would use the same language against Republicans. It was all Democrat talking points. This is the new one, legal observer. I have now seen this in the last 24 hours. That phrase used more than I've seen in my entire freaking life. And this is the phrase now being used to describe Renee, what's her name? Whatever her name is. I don't give a shit. As a legal observer.
But you've done the deep dive in that, right? You know what that's about.
Yes.
The National Lawyers Guild.
Yes, and it originates from the UN. Yeah.
But the National Lawyers Guild has been using this. They train these people. They've been training people for this shit since for 100 years practically.
Yeah.
And this they actually purport to own they have a trademark registration for legal observer, which is mind-boggling to me. How that possibly got through the USPTO, because legal observer is generic. You could call a candy bar legal observer, but if you have someone you think is a legal observer, you can't own the words legal observer to describe them. Okay. Yeah, I mean that the cynicism is well, I mean, nothing surprising, nothing we haven't seen before, but geez, Scott, good night.
Yeah, no, and this is, and I'm gonna show y'all in a second how prolific it's gotten, and this will be an image from yesterday, so it's gotten even worse since then.
It is incidents like these that demonstrate why we have pushed back against reckless and racist.
Racist!
It's all racist. when we have rogue masked federal agents killing
Rogue,
people
masked.
Yeah, rogued and masked. It's amazing that guys like this didn't give two shits about a bunch of rando Antifa terrorists running around cities like the one in Missouri. What it was after, you know, what it was, which one? I don't remember whichever that one was. The one in Missouri was that George Floyd. No, that was Michael Brown. In Ferguson, Missouri, the ones running around in Portland, Oregon when they were doing Chop and Chaz up there, the ones running around in Chicago, all the times they were burning down cities, shooting at police officers, assassinating police officers, running around causing mass chaos, committing all kinds of crimes to holy hell. All of them have masks on, marching in those protests, those Antifa protests. He didn't give a shit about any of them because they were peaceful protesters. But by God, if a federal agent who's feared, you know, who's just trying to do his job and afraid of being doxxed by lunatics like this piece of shit and other ones out there just like him, from having their families, you know, threatened with violence, oh, God forbid they show up with masks on.
Terrible
Yeah, I'm so tired of the hypocrisy with these assholes.
We are all less safe. In Chicago, we saw these same agents indiscriminately raid apartment buildings.
Indiscriminately. The federal government, you know what? They were just having such a good time. They decided to waste tens of millions of dollars of resources and time just running into random buildings.
Words simply don't mean anything. Words have no meaning.
We're just randomly raiding buildings in Chicago because they were having some shits and giggles. Come on.
Tear gas school children and violate the fundamental rights of countless Chicagoans. Chicago stands in solidarity with Minneapolis.
You can
I'm
have
praying for
both.
the family.
You know what, Ron? I noticed the other night because this happened with Jacob Fry and Tim Waltz.
That your nose hair gets really long when you start reaching a certain age, right? So you're going to say?
Well, there's that.
You got to start trimming it. Like you don't grow up with that expectation that you're going to have to do that, and then all of a sudden it's there. Yeah, it's there. And your barber will take care of your ears if he's any good.
I'm trying to rip some out now during the breaks.
But the nose, you know, then that's what I mean. That's what I assume you're going to ask me if I ever noticed.
You were close. You were. Oh, well, there goes my earbuds. These things do not stay in. So no, what I was going to say was what I've noticed is that
you're a noticer.
It started playing again. So no, what I was going to say was we hear the words. Remember, we had Angelinos when it came to Mayor Karen Bass. When it came to Jacob Frey in Minneapolis, it was Minnesotans or it was, you know, our friends and neighbors. You got the Chicago mayor here talking about Chicagoans, people that have lived with us, people. They never say the word citizen. Not once ever will you hear these Democrat mayors and these Democrat governors ever use the word citizen. They never say citizens of Chicago. Yeah, exactly. They never say citizens of Chicago. They don't say citizens of Minnesota, citizens of Minneapolis, citizens of Los Angeles, citizens of California, citizens of New York. It's always your friends and neighbors, residents, people who have lived among us. This is the Democrat bullshit language that is gaslighting you. This is what and it's subtle. And this is what people have to understand. They know that their cities are full of these illegals. They know that these people are bilking welfare for tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars of taxpayer money from actual U.S. citizens. They know they're there, and frankly, they know that they are voting because they're helping them. And if they're not walking into the polls themselves, they goddamn sure have ballots that are attached to them that get harvested by somebody and turned in. And the reason why somebody like Governor Tim Walz, just, I guess, coincidentally, out of the blue, decided that it was time to, you know what, I'm not going to run for re-election all of a sudden. Just a couple of days after a 22-year-old kid that he bitched about in an open press conference, Nick Shirley, nailed his ass to the wall and said it was all BS, but by the way, I'm not going to run for re-election. After he had a cruise line into a historic third term. Give me a break. They always use language to gaslight people. And guys out there, girls out there watching, if you're not careful, if you don't pay attention, if you don't pick up on the subtleties of what the Democrat Party is doing and how they gaslight, you are missing the boat. Call them out every time when they say your friends and neighbors or residents, people who have lived with us for years and all this, when they use any word other than citizens, I want you to jump up and I want you to say, gotcha. That's it.
Good one.
I'm tired of it. So anyway, that's my soapbox. Sorry, I had to go off on that. We talked about this a little bit last night. But yeah. So that was the mayor of Chicago.
We must have 2 or 3 super chats that you wanted. Someone has to.
Yeah, we're doing it right now. Super chat time. Archer Merchant for $5. The Law Enforcement Union called out the comments in Minnesota saying the activist language is leading to record law enforcement assaults. Yes, they did. I saw this. Matter of fact, Archer, let me see. I think I almost positive I tagged this one. Oh, wait. Before I scroll past this, I'm just going to pull this up. Archer, hold tight. This is what I was talking about right here. Archer, I'm going to get right back to this. Legal Observer. Jerry Nadler. Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, Legal Observer. CARE. We all know CARE actually cares about American values. Legal Observer. California Endowment, Legal Observer. Ed Krasenstein, who was, he and his brother doxed the ICE agent today on X. And then said, no violence. His name is this, but please no violence. We all know goddamn well that's exactly what he wants. Okay? Let's be honest. The New Republic, Representative Ilhan Omar, Congresswoman Maxine Dexter. This is a small snapshot just from yesterday. They're all using the word legal observer. This is by design, Ron. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Slightly. Just a little bit. Okay. And let me find this real quick since you brought this up. Where is this? I swear I saved this, or did I repost it? But yes, you're right. The law enforcement, it's the big law enforcement union or statewide pension in Minnesota that absolutely basically tore Tim Walz and the Minneapolis governor, Jacob Frey, apart on this one. And I'm trying to find it real quick. 1 second. I think I reposted it. And I'm going to pull this up because that's a very important point. Maybe I didn't save it. Oh, no, here it is. Got it. This is what he's talking about. You say, I posted this. Amen. Here it is for immediate release. Statement by the Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association on ICE activity and political reaction in Minneapolis. The Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association stands firmly behind law enforcement officers, accountability under the law, and the safety of every Minnesota community. Irresponsible, reckless rhetoric from political leaders attacking law enforcement has real and dangerous consequences for officers on the street. When officers are vilified, demonized, or used as political props, it fuels hostility, emboldens bad actors, and puts lives directly at risk. We call on the leaders to stop the inflammatory language and respect the legal and investigative process. And they are as you see down there, the largest organization representing public safety professionals in Minnesota. So this isn't some rando outfit. So anyway, yeah, good call there, Archer. He also says, just say they vote red, then they will change their tune. Well, Marcus for 10, Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, run by Attorney General Keith Ellison, drops out of yesterday's shooting in Minneapolis, saying the FBI wouldn't give them access to evidence per Fox News. Minnesota won't be able to railroad the agent now. Yeah, Ron, do you want to give some comments on that? Because, there's a lot of, again, I think misnomers out there that somehow that in this case, This is a federal agent. Is a state, in this case Minnesota, do they have a legal right to be involved in the investigation, or is this something that has to be done by the FBI?
You have all seen, we've all watched enough TV, that part where our hero is in the middle of, he's about to find the big clue, the smoking gun. And so colleague comes in, closes the doors. We're done. The feds are taking over the investigation. Happens all the time. I don't know what the protocol is. I don't know why they have that power. I don't know how it operates because I don't do criminal work. But it does appear that the federal government can box out local authorities and does on a regular basis.
Yeah,
Now,
that
the authorities are actually on the wrong side. In fact, the authorities are the problem and are probably, I mean, if the chances of there not being a connection between these legal observers, these ICE watchers, was that the term that we?
ICE.
There's zero
watch.
chance that they do not have an official or unofficial, but probably even an official liaison with the Minneapolis Police Department. Guaranteed.
I would think
Guaranteed.
so. Yeah, and that's the problem.
Bookmark it.
I think you're right, and that's I didn't think about that earlier, but I think you're right. The ICE Watch, I wouldn't at all surprise me that they work in tandem with the local Minneapolis Police Department. At the very, I don't know about the state police, but I mean certainly the Minneapolis Police Department, just based on the very open and routine comments by their own police chief, that he's in total agreement with the mayor of Minneapolis that ICE needs to, quote, get the fuck out of their city. And at that point, why would a federal agency like the FBI, who is typically in charge, anytime, my understanding is, and again, I'm a lay person, I don't know, I don't understand every aspect of law, I don't understand most aspects of law, but one thing my understanding has always been is that, and this is just in conversations with friends of mine who are in law enforcement here in Louisiana, is that when it comes to, if you have any type of federal officer or federal agent involved in an OIS, an officer involved shooting, that by default, no matter where it happens, that the FBI is the lead investigative unit when it comes to seeing and determining if it was a justified use of force, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And whether it's FBI agents or it's their own internal affairs department or what have you, but it's when it involves a federal agency, just like if it were to involve a local cop, it would be local internal affairs or a state agency. Like I know here in Louisiana, 99% sure that this is pretty much on balls. But, if you have a local cop in New Orleans or Jefferson Parish or St. Tammany Parish or any of the surrounding areas that are involved in an OIS, that there is a state division under the Louisiana State Police that would come in as basically an oversight independent agency to come in and do an internal affairs investigation to see. The federal government operates the same way. So while I don't think that there's anything prohibitive legally from disallowing Minnesota doing their own investigation, my understanding is there is nothing that obligates the federal government to cede that investigation to the state authorities.
And I think what I'm learning here is that the FBI can't shut down a state investigation.
Right.
But they can refuse to cooperate.
Yeah, they don't have to comply. Yeah.
And because they both have jurisdiction. Mm-hmm. But as a practical matter, if there is, if the FBI believes that state actions impede federal interests. A federal court could intervene, but that would be pretty unusual. So I guess what they're really going to, I guess what we're really saying is that what we've seen on TV, the feds are taking over. This is our investigation now. It's kind of bullshit. But
they're not taking over. It's under their prowess. It's under their purview. It's under their. I mean, it's their jurisdiction.
Get under my prowess, little girl.
I mean, it's a federal officer was involved in this, and look.
Well, that's. I mean, you're right. Let's not forget, this is a G-man. This is a G-man thing. So,
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Do we want to see something a little funny? I think we need something a little funny.
Yeah.
So this was from today, and we're going to get back to Super Chats somewhere. I just want to interject with this because, again, going back to the discussion before I forget, a lot of this on Twitter right now and Reddit and the annals of the internet out there. Federal law enforcement, ICE agents can't arrest U.S. citizens. Again, y'all have to get off of Google AI. Y'all seriously do. No, ICE agents don't target American citizens for warrants and arrests for obvious reasons, but that does not preclude them as federal officers from arresting an American citizen who deliberately obstructs their lawful duties in operation. So in case you thought that an ICE agent can't arrest you, get ready for some fun, y'all, and a bit of butt crack. Watch Orange Jacket.
Yeah, Orange Jacket is not the move if you're going to be the guy throwing stuff at the cops.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, Mr. Butt Crack.
Yes. We got, where is Butt Crack Media when I need him? Because this might be, is this Butt Crack Media? I hope it's not Butt Crack Media. One of our great wrenches and Renegade Nation fans out there. So, Butt Crack here, what you didn't see before the camera started rolling was Mr. Butt Crack here, not Butt Crack Media. He lobbed some object at law enforcement officers. Ron Coleman, lawyer, what would you consider that to be from a legal perspective in terms of potential crime?
I guess that would be interfering with the operation of law enforcement officer.
I mean, it's a crime, though, right?
Of course.
Yeah, it's a crime. So if you throw something at an officer,
Well, but let's step back. If you throw something at anyone,
yeah,
that's assault. Likely assault with a deadly weapon,
or battery if you hit them. Yeah,
assuming that right, and it could be attempted murder. It could, I mean, there probably is a nice laundry list of lesser included offensive, or it could even be aggravated assault.
Yeah.
And if you do it at a couple, that's actually an enhancement factor right there.
Yep. It is. It absolutely is. I would think. And again, I mean, we don't have a video of. I don't know what the object he threw. It doesn't matter.
But can we watch them running again?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Oh my, I'm very brave. I'm just going to run away now. Okay. Well, I actually should do a Cleveland. I can't do that.
Please don't say he's got his pants down. I'm like, please don't say Cleveland Steamer because we got it. Oh, Cleveland Brown. Okay, yeah. I Family Guy, Cleveland Brown. Yeah,
Cleveland
okay.
Steamer.
Okay, let's not. Never mind. And look at all these guys. They're sitting out there and they're holding low. And this is what God, I feel so bad for these guys because I know they're out there with these things and they're feeling like I feel like an idiot. They're all standing there at low ready with paintball guns. And I get it. I know that's what they have to do. They're professionals, and God bless them. But I know they're like, I'm about ready to draw this Glock on some of these dumbasses. But these guys are professionals. They don't do that.
Hey, how's it going, man? Good to see you.
But I just want to, my point is for the audience to do everything that they're holding. Every weapon they have, you can look clearly right there. Every weapon they are holding at low ready is a paintball gun. Basically. Now, it's not loaded with paintballs. It's loaded with pepper balls. I get that. But in terms of function.
That's what they used to call me in high school, by the way.
Pepper ball?
Pepper balls.
Oh, pepper balls. I like that. Was that from the
That's what she
guys or the
said.
girls? That's what. Yeah, there it is. So here we go. They get this guy up. What? Now I want you to look how chill they are. And my point of showing this is, did they shoot this guy in the head? Nope. Did they shoot him in the leg? No. Did they shoot him anywhere? No.
What a fine specimen, though, huh? That guy, Mr. Orange Coat.
Yeah, and this is a guy who was lobbing things, bricks, whatever, at federal agents. Again, even if he walked up to a federal agent, if he walked up to any law enforcement officer, and spit at them, all 50 states in this country, you spit on a cop, you're going to jail for assault and battery. Okay? You can, again, go. There are countless body cam videos of stupid drunk women spit on a cop when they're getting arrested for DUI. They get charged with assault and battery. Okay? So, again, I'm trying to educate the audience out there. Don't be stupid. And don't think that you can do whatever you want. You're morally justified to resist and fight with cops because you think they're racist, Nazis, or whatever stupid thing is going on in your brain. Okay, let's get back in here to the super chats and wind it down here just to say vote right. We got that one. Thank you, Marcus. We got that one. Dems underwater is great, but only if Republicans vote, says Marcus for $2. Exactly correct. Exactly correct. We have to show up. The good guys have to show up. Sean, what's up, my brother? For $2 says, Waltz is a clown, Frey's a clown, Ron Coleman is the man. I'm with that. I'm with that. We need some big super chats tonight for Ron Coleman. He just spent a lot of money. Ron Coleman is broke. Y'all go send the super chats on Ron's channel.
I'm telling you, these Jewish weddings.
You know what the answer to that, and this wasn't even a Jewish daughter. This was a son, right?
Yeah, but it ends up, both sides end up. If you would know the customs that have accreted onto our thousands of years of survival, I don't want to talk about it.
Right. Look, this was a son's wedding. When one of Ron Coleman's daughters actually gets married, then the bill really comes due. Ron's actually going to petition the Egyptian government to take him back as a slave. It's good.
I'm a boy dad, and I'm done.
I know.
They're all out.
Oh, God bless them. I know you guys had a lot of fun though, but we love the crowd out there. And we're all just funning around. But if y'all want to send in some super chats for Ron to help him out because he really is broke, we're all for it. Marcus says for $2, sounds like we need Team America 2 movie right now. It probably would be good. Packing protons for $5, gifting $1. Ron knows that if Trump calls, that overrules a pro stream participation membership. Yes, I guess you mean like, yeah. If he can't go on pro show if Trump calls. Yeah, we get it. We know. That's always the way it is. Araxis for $2, coming by to say goodnight. So good night. Araxis, good to see you, my man. Thank you for being here, dude. Thank you for coming in. Marcus for $5, subscribe to Ron Coleman, the Valliant Renegade's own legal scholar who will tell it straight, Old Testament style. Amen to that. And Marcus sent that on your channel. Marcus left me to go pop you a $5.
Yeah,
super chat. I love it.
Marcus is great.
Marcus is awesome. Marcus is a retired law enforcement officer. We've got several of them out there in our chat, and quite a few of them. Elijah was in there last night. Elijah Snow was in there last night. Former Leo chiming in as well as we were going through the conversations. Because I was like, look, I know I got law enforcement people in my chat. Love you guys. I think I'm going to get most of this right. If I screw anything up, y'all call me out and we'll fix it, right? And everybody was on board with it. Thank you, Brooklyn. 10952 for $2, sending that over to Ron Coleman channel. Good to see you, Brooklyn. Thank you. Welcome aboard. Sean for $5. Remember when JD owned Tim Waltz at their debate for VP? Oh, do I ever. Waltz, unfortunately, no different from Kotex. That kind of caught me as I read it. From Kotex, Newsom, Prickster, and the other Democrat governors. Wait, which one's Kotex? I thought Tim Waltz was Kotex. Was Kotex?
No. He just makes sure that the boys have access to Kotex.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm like, he's no different from we got Gavin Newsom, JB Pritzker, and I'm like, is there another tampon governor besides Tim? Because he said Kotex like it was somebody else. Help me on that one, Sean, if I'm wrong. Marcus for 2. So winter ice saved ice. Ironically, yes. Marcus for 2. I've been run over at a traffic stop. It sucks. Oh, you told me about that before. Yeah, I mean, look, let me tell you what. There are tons, and matter of fact, people have been playing several of these videos today to show an example of what happens. And I think I had one queued here just real quick. If I can scroll down, it takes me a second to find it. Why? Oh, I'm way down. Where did this go? Oh, I'm on my page. Wait, hang on. Let me check my bookmarks. Here's one. This is one that just had police in Pennsylvania open fire on a Mercedes G-Wagon. I don't need the audio. Y'all can see what's going on. Stop. Look at this dude. Look, he smashed the police car. Pardon me. Had to get that one out. He smashed the police car two or three times, and almost ran over a cop 2 or 3 times, and he got shot for it. Okay? I mean, this is not hard. Unfortunately, this happens on a daily basis. But again, Democrats want to treat.
But was he a mom?
I don't know if he was a mom. Did you mean he was a mom, or was he an imam? I want to make sure, because he wasn't a blinged out G-Wagon run. I don't know. I want to make sure he wasn't Persian. So no, again, unfortunately, this thing happens far too often, and people have showed the video of, and I think I have it saved here. Many times, and again, this is one example that's been going around of many, that of a female police officer who unfortunately did not react, had her weapon drawn well in advance, had her weapon drawn, and this is it, and did not react in time. And people have been citing this as an example. Now, they do stop the video before, because this officer was unfortunately killed in this situation.
Officer Caprio got off one shot.
That was it. She went under the car, and that was it. My point is, I want you to look at this. This officer had her weapon drawn, pointed at the vehicle, giving them lawful commands to stop.
As the Jeep continued to advance, Officer Caprio got off one shot.
There was 4 seconds between the time that body cam video that they started on here was on that car. I'm sure she was standing there a lot longer with that weapon drawn than 4 seconds. The officer that was involved in the shooting in Minneapolis yesterday had less than 1 second between the time the wheel spun with the car aimed at him, and then he began to draw the weapon and got it planted out. I mean, he got a good stance. And kudos to him. Let me tell you what, his draw was clean as hell. I can tell you, as a guy who's practiced that draw a lot of times, his draw was sharp. He got that thing out and planted. He was on point aiming at the driver, and had it not been for the ice on the road, that car would have launched straight forward with the first gas pedal press as opposed to spinning out on the ice. He would have been dead. This officer had 4 seconds. She was run over and killed. He had less than 1 second to react to this. So for all the people out there that want to say that, oh, blah, 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 he should have shot out the tires, or he should have shot out the...
Please.
I mean, just shut the hell up, honestly, please. Save yourself the embarrassment. Big Blue Horses says for $5, rioters blaming the ICE presence for their stupid is like an arsonist saying he burns down buildings because the fire station is on the corner. He's not wrong. It's a sad thing. I never thought of it that way. It's actually pretty good. Snarky, what's up, my man? For $5, 10,000 agents to Minnesota, arrest and prosecution for obstruction. Look, I said this last night. I said the reaction to this egregious behavior in Minneapolis should be, from Kristi Noem, from DHS, and from ICE, double your presence tomorrow. And it looks like they're about to do it. And you got Tim Waltz out there. That's going to be kind of my final thought for Ron here. We'll get to this in a second. And Big Blue Horses, wait a minute, hold on. Oh, let me get this one. I pulled it up. Soon this fight will be in court. Juries will not convict their own regardless of the evidence, and judges will let it happen because they agree. Scary. Some judges will, Ron. Yeah.
They just convicted that judge. You know, the judge who what was her name? Dugan.
Oh, yeah.
She got convicted. There are notorious cases of jury nullification that are shameful.
Yes.
And there are some notorious cases of judges being jackasses, politically activists. But by and large, people, except in some of the really crazy places, but a lot of people are going to jail.
They are.
Well, there are quite a few Antifa people who are off the streets now.
Yes. Yes. Let me tell you who's not off the street. Let me tell you who's not going to jail. It's Snarky with 50 gifted Ron Coleman channel memberships. Lighten it up out there. Snarky, you hit the winning button there, dude.
Thank you, Snarky.
That is outstanding, and we
can't appreciate that too much.
No, we really can't.
We're gonna eat this week because of Snarky.
We are gonna eat this week because of Snarky, and I have something special for Snarky. As we always say here on Valiant Renegade, cats suck.
Stop it! I mean it. Stop! Oh, come on!
I'm sorry. This is what AI was made for. I don't care what anybody says. I love these stupid, and I hate cats. I love these stupid cat videos.
This is a dog people channel, okay? This is a dog people show. I don't know. I don't really know what he does the rest of the week, but I can tell you on Thursday night, this is a dog show.
This is a dog show. I tell you what, we'll also give you some classic clips here. Some of one of the best SNL skits ever.
Sean Connery, it's still your board. I'll take swords for 400. It's actually not swords, sir. Swords. It looks like this is my lucky day. I'll take the rapists for 200. That's therapist. Catch the seaman for 800. It's not catch the seaman. Sean Connery, why don't you pick? Well, the game is afoot. I'll take anal bum cover for $7.
This is the greatest series of sketches that
I'll take
SNL
Jack
did since the
Anus
70s
relations
and
for
the 80s. Let me go back.
I'll take Jap anus relations for 200. Or Sean Connery, just pick a category. I'll take horse semen for 800. Wait, where are you going? Go, what are you? She, whore, like your mother. Semen. It's right there. I see it. Now, please.
Oh God! All right, Snarky, you got the winning pick there for the 50 gifted memberships. I didn't think I was going to pull that rabbit out of the hat tonight, but you did it. Thank you, Snarky. We appreciate your support. And Juliet for 2 British pounds says like, subscribe, and share. Yes, we need it for both of our channels. We appreciate you being here. If you're watching on X, sub to us on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, go sub on X to Ron Coleman and myself. And we've got an Insidious for $10 is now a good time to ask for the space laser. Maybe.
Get in line.
And 581 Deform for $5 says Kotex is the Oregon governor. Ah, okay. I didn't know the Oregon governor. That's a woman, isn't it? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yes.
I got to, okay. I can't remember the name. I know if I saw a picture, I'd get like, oh yes, okay, I know what you're talking about now, but I couldn't think of it. All right, I think that kind of wraps it up for now. I don't know if we've got. Let me just kind of do a quick double check.
Kotek,
here.
Tina Kotek.
Kotek. Okay, now it's ringing a bell. I don't know if. I'm trying to see if there's been any updates here on the situation in Portland. Speaking of, just before we close out, just to kind of be double sure, I don't see anything on the on New York Post or Fox unless it's not updating for me. I'm just going to do a quick check here on X just in case there's anything that we may want to address. And again, guys like Nick Sorter is a good quick place to go to check and see. Oh God, Bovino. Oh, they hate Bovino. Somebody attacked him today, and they that guy got arrested. Has taken over the Minnesota state capitol here in St. Paul. I cannot confirm or deny whether or not he's on the lookout for Ilhan Omar. That's smart ass. Yeah, it's just what they were saying here from earlier from the DHS report that one of the guy that was shot was Tren de Agua.
Portland police, just before 2:30, officers received information that a man had been calling for help in this area, and they responded, found a male and a female with apparent gunshot wounds. Again, police and officers on scene worked to give people medical aid during.
Yeah, so I don't think anything has been tremendously updated here in terms of that situation. So, Ron Coleman, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Any final thoughts here before we boogie out here?
Support not only your local police, but your federal law enforcement agents who are actively engaged in what should not be dangerous work, but is.
It is. And you know what? I'll go ahead and be the total grifter in this shill here. Support your local YouTubers as well. Support local law enforcement and support the YouTubers who support local law enforcement. We appreciate you guys.
What's not to like?
Thank you guys out there,
Good
and
night.
we will see you next week. Take care, and Sunday on the main channel, Valliant Renegade, we'll have lots to discuss.
So
Stay
much.
tuned for that. Indeed. Take care.